from Nerdly. What do you like to be called, Kev or Kevin?
Kevin, anything's fine. Anything's fine. I don't mind. You've earned the right to call me whatever you want.
Welcome, Kev.
So I am going to step back a little bit to Deonna. During one of your answers, you mentioned growing up as a young girl and all that, and looking up to these wrestlers and the likes of Mickie James and Gail Kim. Watch a lot of wrestling with my 10-year-old daughter, and right now there is just such a multitude of fantastic talent out there, females-wise, across the board. What would be a good bit of advice that you guys would give to someone her age or any girl their age wanting to maybe look to get into this sort of career?
I would say first, make sure your education comes first, I think, because even in wrestling, you need to have an education and a knowledge of how business works. But also I would say, and I'm sure Deonna and Gail can both attest to this, is like, do your homework and find the right school, like a school that has like a track record and is respected across the board, because a lot of there's obviously talent comes from different places, but there's a lot of really, especially now, I think there's more respected schools out there now than there ever was. But there's also a lot of not so good schools. And I that was my biggest thing, is when I first started, the school I started at, I ended up transferring like a year and a half later, and I had to relearn a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm grateful for it because it was my foot in the door, but I had to relearn a lot of stuff over after that first year and a half or whatever. So
definitely walk before you run, people, if you want to do that, because just like you said, I always say the same thing is get a backup education, a backup skill, whatever. I have education, but I still wish I got more backup skills, because this business is not something that can last forever. I mean, I retired when I was 40. So, I mean, 40 still, I know maybe not to you guys, but it is still too young, right?
It's very young.
So, you have a lot of time, and I've been just very fortunate to be able to stay in the business, but that doesn't always happen. So definitely what you're saying, that
especially for women, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. And
it's not, now it is now, more than it used to be, but the average span of a female in the wrestling business was like 7 years, when I got in, and it's that you would be actually making money or being able to call it a career per se. So
I started wrestling when I was 18, fresh out of high school. So I think my biggest advice, besides what you guys have already said, is to get an education, because I wish I had done that, and I'm doing it now and my life is crazy, is to be a kid, and maybe don't start until you're 18. Live your life, because those are years that I missed with friends and going to college, and a lot of stuff that are once in a lifetime. You're only going to get to do those things once. And I see a lot of, especially where I'm from in the Northeast, young people starting when they're 16 and 15 and 17, and it takes away from your childhood. So go be a kid and enjoy what 16, 17, 18, 21 has to offer, and enjoy that part of your life before you get into this, because once you're in wrestling, it's you're either all in or you're all out if you want it to be your career. And there's a lot of things that I missed from that time period in my life that I wish I could have done differently.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you. And it's amazing for me as a father, because she has so many amazing, talented women to look up to on the scene. So thank you for that.